Peace everyone, Unmask here and welcome to day 9 of Inktober. So today's prompt is Screech. So a few of you may already be able to guess what I'm going to draw today. It's going to just be a single character and hopefully it won't take as long as yesterday's live stream, but it might not be as fun, so I apologize for that in advance. But before I jump into that, everybody that sent me pictures of their Inktober pieces, I'm going to go ahead and share those now right here in the beginning. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So this first one is from Renate. I really like this one because of the perspective and the wood texture. It was really cool. Here's another one from Renate, the skydiver. I really liked the depth that you created in this piece by using water in your ink. Here's one, the Joker from On Kush. I think this one was for yesterday's prompt, Crooked. And then let's see what else. Wendy, this is hers from Sword. She gave me a few of them that I forgot to share, so I'm sharing a few of hers, but I really loved the red color in this one. This is the, what is the name of the building? I forget the name of the building, but it's a building here in Poland. I had a few people actually draw that building for Crooked. Her adorable little shy pig for that prompt. And then here's Christine's. This was just a little sketch of hers, and it has Nugget not tall enough to ride the slip and slug or the slip and slime. Here's another one of the Kozivi Domek building here in Poland with the little nugget walking by. And then here's one from Linda, her shy swan. And another one from Linda, this one is Crooked. It's a hand with arthritis, which I thought was an interesting take on the Crooked prompt. Here's one from Danielle. I'm not quite sure what the animal is. It kind of looks like a mouse, but it looks like it could be some other rodent, but it's sweet and adorable. Another one from Danielle, Excalibur. I'm not quite sure the reference on this one. I might be missing it, but it could be from the Excalibur animation movie. And then her giraffe for the long prompt. I think that was day 5. Shini with this really lovely, what looks like watercolor, kind of girl in a cloak for Shy. I really liked that one. And then this is another one with kind of like bugs or some kind of weird creature in a bar. I really liked the full picture of that, nice colors. And then here's another look at Renate's with all the texture, all the fun texture. But that is it. So for everybody else, hopefully I didn't miss anybody today. I know yesterday I missed a few of your works, so I apologize for that. Hopefully I made up for it. And for everybody else that's participating in Inktober, make sure that you head over to my Facebook page and message me your finished Inktober pieces, and I will share it on tomorrow's live stream. And the link to that is in the description. So let me catch up with the live chat really quick. Say hello to everybody. Gihan, Kalia, Anna, Wendy. Good morning. Hello everybody. Hello Stephanie. Looking forward to our first class this Wednesday. Anastasia, Silverine. Hello. Hildy, Christy, Chrissy. I think that's everybody. Hello, hello. Yes, I'm glad that you were able to make it to the live stream. Let's go ahead and just jump right into this piece. It's going to be a little bit different than yesterday's. Let's have a look at yesterday's. I was so proud of yesterday's. Yeah, it was super fun one. I still look at it and laugh because it's so funny. But today, like I said, I'm just working on a character. You can almost consider today a little bit of a tutorial because, as you can see, I have pretty much nothing done, and it's kind of scary because I don't want to take all day today working on this. I'd like to get the dishes done in my kitchen, so hopefully this won't take me too long. But I'm just going to be sketching Screech from the TV show Saved by the Bell. I kind of grew up watching Saved by the Bell, so I thought this was a good callback to that TV show. So let me map out some of his facial features. Now I'm not going for anything realistic here. I'm actually just going to kind of cartoonize him a little bit. He kind of has this bulbous nose, and I'm going to give him kind of big, goofy eyes and a goofy smile and stuff like that. I see everybody is saying hello to each other in the chat. That's always nice. That's what I love about having all of you guys here. You getting to know one another and just being super friendly. It's the best. It's the best part about the live stream. All right. I'm sketching pretty quickly, so hopefully I don't make any too many embarrassing mistakes here with my sketching. But this is kind of the process that I go through every time I create a character. I always draw kind of the base framework and then slowly build up all the details. I actually have a tutorial series called How to Draw Anime, and it's a 3-part video series that I did last year, and it covers a lot of my drawing techniques. I've never done specifically a drawing tutorial. However, the techniques that I cover in that course are very universal in the way that you can use them. So if you are interested in kind of learning a bit more about my drawing technique, you can always check out those courses or that video series, and you can find it pretty easily on my my home page of YouTube. So, all right, kind of just a goofy face, and then he has like this curly hair or whatever. It's 12 in the morning in Australia. I'm sorry, Chrissy, that I couldn't start the stream a little bit earlier for you. Oh, you also drew Screech from Saved by the Bell? Yeah, I assumed that a few people would have been kind of drawing him. The ones that I thought people would do most were either like a car drifting or some kind of bird, because Screech, kind of the sound of a bird or whatever. But that's what I imagined people deciding to do. And I thought Screech, the character from Saved by the Bell, would have most likely been a fairly popular choice, and I assumed that a few people were going to do it. But I didn't care. I'm not trying to be like super original on today's. The last couple days have really worn me out. And plus, this morning I had a class with one of my Patreon students, and so I didn't have as much free time this morning to spend a whole half of my day planning out a storyboard. But I wouldn't have been able to come up with one anyway. I'm really just totally worn out when it comes to the stories. So hopefully you guys didn't come for another manga page, because I don't think I have one left in me for the next week or so. I also, this Wednesday, I start my Polish class, so I don't even know how much more difficult that's going to be. Oh yeah, owl is a good one. Yeah, I think screeching owls. I think that's the more common bird. I imagine that would have uh, come to people's minds when it comes to birds and the word screech. So I'm just going to give our goofy little character here a t-shirt, which is pretty much the easiest thing to draw on a person. And I always like to work on the base of the character, just their body language, their figure, and then I add the clothes on top. And I just find that process to be so much easier to work with than trying to create my characters with the clothes already on them. I think that it would be a more counterproductive approach to creating my characters, even though I already have a really good idea as to what I'm going to be making them wear. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a baggy t-shirt. So it's going to kind of like bunch up down here towards the belly and kind of bulge out a little bit. And I just give the shirt kind of a general shape, kind of block it in. And then the next thing I do with clothes, I like to put in the hemlines. So for t-shirts, you kind of have this hemline for the sleeves up here. And then I think about where the arms are moving, like how the arms are moving. So you have this arm kind of swinging forward a little bit. This arm is a little bit drawn back because he's walking, right? And so this arm actually is starting to swing forward, and this arm is starting to swing back because of the left foot forward. And for that reason, the tension of the shirt starts to pull from over here as he starts to swing it forward, which puts kind of a strain on this front part. So it kind of rotates. So I sketch in those lines to start laying out where I want the wrinkles to be. And for this shirt over here, it's kind of doing the opposite. It's pulling back on here. So I'm just going to kind of throw in these lines a little bit. And then as his body starts to turn, his body is actually turning kind of, let's see, his legs. So his body is kind of turning like this. His legs are turning this way. His shoulders are turning that way. And for that reason, it's being twisted like this. So his shirt is being twisted up like that. So I think of his shoulder as being kind of the anchor point where the shirt tension starts. I didn't intend for this to start turning into a complete drawing tutorial. I'm never going to get anything done if I sit here and explain absolutely everything. But hopefully, for those of you that want to get a little bit better at drawing clothes and things, this is kind of the way that I do, the way that I think about it. So I think of the tension point being up here. So I swing all of my wrinkles starting off coming from that direction. And then of course you have all kinds of things happening. The shirt starts to bunch up, so you get wrinkles from this side starting to kind of crash into the rest of the shirt here. So maybe just, where his shirt starts to bunch up down here at the bottom. And that's the way that I map out my wrinkles a little bit for this particular kind of shirt. Depending on the material, everything just totally changes. So yeah, but that's my t-shirt tutorial right there. And then I just try to take those sketch lines and transform it into an actual shirt. And if there's any wrinkles that I just don't like, I just remove them. Sometimes I have to do this process, 3 or 4 times before I get the look that I want. Like I get the wrinkles just in the right location to the point that I'm like, yeah, I think that's believable. Because that's the hard part, is getting all the wrinkles and stuff put in a way that will convince the viewer that the shirt is a legitimate kind of piece of cloth. Do some erasing now. I'm definitely not looking for perfection here. Not today. I don't have the time today. So it's going to be a little bit sketchy. A little sketchier than my previously well-planned drawings. Getting the draping of clothing is an art itself. Yeah, I agree. That's a really difficult thing to get, and it is a learning process, no doubt. The other thing that I like to do is there's this really good clothing website, and this is by no means an endorsement for the for the clothes, because I've actually never bought anything from this store, but there's a store in the States, at least I'm only aware of it in the States, it could be in Europe too, I don't know, called Nordstrom's, and it's like a high-end kind of classy store, which explains why their website is so amazing, because they have the best website, because I will go to their website and just look at pictures of clothes to get references for wrinkles and all those things that occur in clothes, and I'll use them as references so that I can create my clothes and find the wrinkles that I need to make in order for the clothes that I design to have the correct kind of folds happening, because there's a lot of different types of folds that occur depending on the type of material that you use, and I get so many references. It's you gotta get as many references as possible. Hard to draw at this angle because I'm not sure if it looks right. It doesn't quite look right from this angle, but then I can look up on my camera and kind of see that, yeah, the shirt's not weird looking. Let's see, what else does Screech have? He has this cheap plastic wristwatch that he always wears. Give him his cheap plastic wristwatch. And he wears this hat sometimes. This can be tricky to design. Kind of have a hat reference here. There we go. This is going to be a weird Screech. You love to draw fabric of any kind. There's a book called What People Wore When and blah 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 blah. Yeah, yeah. I'll have to look into that book. What People Wore When. Huh. I bet that has a lot of really cool clothing from back in the day. Hello, Silverne. Moni, Abigail, Doodle Stuff, Red Target. Sorry, I missed a few of you coming in. Hello, Mandy, Parek. Yeah, definitely bookmark the Nordstrom's website. The best part about their website isn't just that they have models, real, actual human models, wearing the outfits and the clothes and things like that. But when you click on the image, you actually, most of the time, you actually get 3, 4, 5 pictures of the same model in different angles and different poses. So it makes it perfect for finding, not only finding the correct material or style, but also finding the right position for the body to be turning, the arm to be moving. So you get a whole library of different kinds of folds, and it's just great. All right, so now I'm going to work on his legs a bit, and he's just going to be wearing like knee-length shorts. So I'm going to kind of work these down like this. Let me zoom out a little bit so you guys get a better view. And then, yeah, his shorts are real loose, so just kind of build out the cloth a bit. Add a few little wrinkles in the bottoms because they're looser, so they're free to kind of wrinkle a little bit. His pockets kind of there. Now, a lot of people struggle with, where the, in this area here, with the way that their pants and things wrinkle. Now, it's a little bit different on, now this might sound shocking, but it's a little bit different whether or not you're drawing a guy or drawing a girl. And the way that I like to construct these wrinkles for guys is right underneath the pelvic area. I usually cut straight across the pants, the shorts, whatever. And in this case, the right leg is forward. I actually missed that a little bit. His left leg, my right, is forward, so I actually got to bring a little bit of a upward curve to the shorts here. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. A little bit of an upward curve, and I'm gonna steepen the curve here because that leg is actually behind a bit more. So you do this horizontal curve, and then for the leg in front here, you're gonna slice it up like that, diagonal, because these creases are gonna start being pulled down, and these creases are actually being pulled farther up. And what I do is I usually come from that spot right there and just throw down a bunch of lines to start finding out where I want those wrinkles to go. And then same thing here, but of course these lines are going to come up and they're going to be a little bit higher. So I still throw out the same lines, but I'm going to use higher lines here and I'm going to use lower lines down here. The Battle of the Bulge. Yeah, that's a good one, Mandy. Yeah. I'm keeping it pretty simplified for the most part, obviously. because I'm trying to finish this drawing, but I can't stop talking. The other thing that that pants have is that zipper, and anytime, I don't know how many of these areas, these bulged areas, I've stared at for the sake of figuring out how to draw them, but the truth is you always have kind of the zipper thing doing one of these weird just shapes, right? And it comes down, that's the zipper, and then you have the hemline that follows it up. And then you have a crease on top and a crease on bottom, usually like that. And what happens is the creases, they scissor like this as you walk. They move like that. So since this leg is coming forward, this is the high point, this is the low point, so that crease comes down at this angle. And then this is where they meet and pinch out to the outside of the leg like that. And out here they flex, so they go like that. This pant leg is being loosed, whereas this one is being pinched up right here at the joint of the thigh. Now his shorts are really loose, so you don't see any pinching happening really at the knees, but you might get something like this. You might get a little pocket on here, maybe. I might just put like a small indication down here. You might get a little pocket, but not so much here. Yeah. So that's kind of the that's a little bit of the strategy of the battle of the bulge. I like that. I like that phraseology there. So hopefully that helps with your bulges. Now, obviously, ladies have a little bit of a difference there, but actually, the zipper line happens also with jeans on women as well, but it's usually, they usually wear a bit tighter jeans, so the creases they happen less exaggerated, so this curve out will just be a lot less slight because it's flatter there, but the creases are usually pinched a lot tighter together with the tighter clothing. So whereas the looser clothing usually has these larger folds, the tighter clothing has these really skinny lines and they're really close together. So there's a lot of pinching happening in the cloth. Like I said, I always scribble this stuff out and then I just balance out the I just balance out the creases where I want them. So I kind of like that one there. All right, and I'm gonna add a little hemline down here, like that. And the other thing I like to add is the in-hem line. So I usually add a little line coming up there. It just adds that little touch of detail that makes the shorts look a little bit, or the pants look a little bit better. Add some cloth here for the pocket. I think that's good. Now on to the bottom parts of the legs. This is X-rated stuff. Yeah, please don't flag my video. Remember the 80s when the skin tight jeans, let's talk about Battle of the Bulge. Yeah, especially for the guys. The metal rock bands that wore the spandex and things like that. Yeah, for sure. Also, if you ever went on a skiing trip in the 80s, all the spandex, you still see it, some of the older people. Yeah, definitely he has the tube socks. Yeah, but before I do the socks, I'm actually going to talk about how I do feet and shoes. So I came across a drawing tip on feet years ago, and it has stuck with me. I watched it. I watched it one time, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, "That is just genius. That makes so much sense, and it makes feet so much easier than everybody has ever made them." So I think of feet as two circles and a sole. And here's how I do that. So I have his heel here. His heel is one flat circle like this, and the circles turn to ellipses based on the angle of the foot. So this is his foot as if it were touching the ground. That's his heel there. And then he has the front circle that's always slightly bigger. Well, let me get some lead out of here. Right, and this is where the ball of the foot hits, like that. So here's the heel, and I have to think of this three-dimensionally. And here's the ball of the foot. And all you do is you connect those lines there. So that's the sole of the foot. That's what makes up the sole of the foot. Let's do this foot over here. You zoom in a little bit for you. So his foot is lifted. His foot is lifted, but his heel is still touching the ground right here. Here's his heel. Here's the ball of his foot. And all I'm going to do is connect those lines. And that's the sole of his foot. Now, perspectively, these two things might be hard to figure what's happening here, but you're looking down on his foot here, you're looking up on his foot here. So that's a little bit tricky to show with this two-dimensional representation of the feet. But once you have this part, that becomes the sole of the foot. Or the sole of the shoe, I mean, sorry. So that's the sole of the shoe. So I'm going to just give it a little bit more depth and create the sole of the shoe. And then raise that same line to create the top part of the sole of the shoe. Shoes on feet can be insanely annoying to draw. So here's a little bit better visualization of this. So I'm going to raise up this line here. Actually, I'm going to lower it. Yeah, I'm going to lower it. And then I'm just going to follow this curved line here. I'm just going to mirror it, but down a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the line in the back. There's a lot of lines on the page right now, but let me do a tiny bit of erasing, and you'll see the way the sole of that shoe just like came out of two circles and a couple lines. So let me just erase that. And now you can see it's perfectly a sole of a shoe. And it took very, very little effort whatsoever. And the best part is you can use the same technique of the two circles and the sole to figure out the placement of your feet. Because if you can draw your legs, down to stumps like this, like let's just say that this is a leg. You know, here's the calf muscle. And I don't know how to make feet. Well, I'll just draw a circle where the heel would be touching, and then say I wanted to just have the foot standing flat. So I would add my second circle slightly larger. I'd connect those two. That creates the sole, and then I would just take from my toes and wrap it up my leg like that. And then once you erase your guidelines, I know I drew that small, now you have a foot. but you can do that on a larger scale. So that is a secret to doing feet. Very basic. It's very basic, I know that, but I use it to this day. I use it, and I only came across it one time. I have no idea where I came across it, but I learned that, and I never struggle with feet anymore. Oh goodness, sorry, I was rambling on for so long. I totally forgot to check out this live chat. You guys are going crazy over here. I make it look easy. Oh, well, I'm glad you learned something, Mandy. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to stay zoomed in for now. I'm going to finish off these shoes here. Whoa, my pencil lead is trying to escape. I don't know what's happening with my pencil right now. There we go. So I'm just going to slowly build my framework for my shoes now. And playing around with all the perspectives and the changes that you have to do when it comes to designing shoes and putting them on feet. That is something that to this day I still struggle with. So if you struggle with it, join the club, because it's like a never-ending battle of struggle, and it's just plain hard to do. All right, few creases in his Chuck Taylors here, and try to do these shoes justice a little bit. But there's a lot of detail on these shoes. I'm going to simplify it a little bit by not doing so many laces. The way that I do laces is I do the eyelids, the little holes first. I do those first, make sure they're even on both sides. So I have 5 on each side. I connect the top laces first, and then the bottom laces, because those are always straight lines. And then I just choose one side and connect those. And then underneath is where I add the other line. So I skip the previously drawn lace. Now this detail is kind of small, so you might not be able to see it all that well, but it's there, I promise. All right, let's do his other shoe, which is a bit more difficult because of the angle that I'm trying to draw this at. Creases in his shoes. There we go. And then Chuck Taylors, they have this little eye hole here and here, and of course they have the star shape. I'm just going to leave it a circle because I really don't feel like doing that detail. I'm going to do the top lace first right here. And because of the curvature that's happening of the perspective, I'm not going to actually do any of the other laces. So just like that. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do with the shoes. Here's our little Screech character in his entirety. Hopefully you guys learned a few little tips and tricks with feet. There's always room for improvement on my side, so I'm still learning as well. But sometimes it's helpful to just explain my own thought process so that I can better develop my ideas and try to help you guys out, maybe skip some steps. in your learning process, you know, speed it along a little bit. Now I need to draw his goofy rolled up socks. His tube socks that are rolled down. There we go. And I always like to add a few little creases to the socks, kind of wrapping around down towards the ankle. That just helps it look like the socks are bunched up a bit. All right, let's see. What do I need to do here? You know what? I don't really think I need to do much else. I am going to grab my 0.3. Yeah, my 0.3 millimeter pen. Actually, I'm going to start with the face. Yeah, I'm just going to start with the face with my 0.25. Do some of his facial features. Draw in his eyes a bit. Sorry, I haven't been paying much attention to the chat, but fortunately I've been able to ramble on a whole bunch of nonsense for you guys. Hopefully I'm not boring you all to death with my mediocre explanation of drawing techniques. Just gonna keep his eyes real simple. He has a propeller on his cap. Yeah, I think I'm gonna work on his hat, so I'm actually not gonna ink that yet. He's the hat is a little tricky, so I'm gonna do some of this, and then I think I'm gonna redo the hat, because with the hat looks like it's sitting on top of his head rather than him wearing it, which is a common problem with doing headgear. It's sometimes hard to get your characters to look like they're wearing the hat rather than it just sitting on their head. And I know that sounds like that's what a hat does. It sits on your head. But it should be pulled down over his head a little bit. And right now it's not quite there. It's not where I want it to be. There we go. Keeping this drawing really, really simple. Alright, I'm going to start here and just sketch down. I don't think I'm going to add this. Maybe I'll add it, I guess. I was thinking of not adding it because it adds a slight muscular kind of attribute to his neck, and yeah, Screech is not muscular. His hair is longer. Well, it kind of depends. His hair changes length a little bit during the show, and sometimes it's actually quite short, but other times, yeah, it can be a bit longer. Oh no, I'm not gonna draw Nugget getting stepped on. Don't worry about that now. I will be adding Nugget here in a moment, but he's safe and sound. Nugget is safe and sound. I don't know why you guys are you're so worried about Nugget. He's fine, people. Calm down. Nugget is fine. This is young Screech. The hair is good, I think. Yeah, this is a young Screech. I kind of don't like the wrinkles going on right here. Now that I'm having a second look at it, yeah, I don't like it. I'm going to just ink his arm. His scrawny little arms. Sometimes it's harder to make my characters look scrawny and weak because I always want to accentuate the muscle structure. I have a tendency to just naturally be inclined to do that. It could partially be because when I first started learning to draw people, I asked my art teacher, who was he was okay. This was in the 8th grade, so it wasn't until the 8th grade that I started learning to draw people. No, I lie. It was 9th grade. Yeah, it was the beginning of my 9th grade year that I took interested in drawing people, because the people that I was drawing was just, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I asked him, like, how can I learn to draw people? And his solution, which was not a good one, was to give me a bodybuilding magazine. Yeah, that's what he gave me. He was like, "Here, draw these," and I was like, "Ugh." It's like, I have nothing against bodybuilders, but I'm sorry, it's just not attractive. Personally, just yeah, I just they're all greasy and just their muscles are so exaggeratedly large and disproportional. It's, yeah. So that's what I started drawing, and I think that's perhaps why I have a little inclination to draw my male characters a bit more muscular. Well, I look forward to seeing your crooked drawing, Mandy. Yeah, I've really liked all of your guys' pieces that have included our little nugget character. It's been so fun. Some of them are so funny. A few of them I shared today, actually, that I really thought were funny. Yeah, I think that wrinkle makes a little bit more sense. And then for his shirt here, obviously, I'm gonna have our little friend. I'm kind of copying the previous week's idea of putting our little nugget friend on the clothing, but I know it's a little bit of a cop-out, but I like the idea. And Screech always has like the goofiest shirts and clothing on. He usually wears like a really loud 80s button-up shirt that just has some ridiculous pattern on it. So where do you send your art? So there's a link in the description that will take you over to my Facebook page, and you just simply message me on Facebook your picture. I do my best. To include everybody's. I know yesterday I had a few issues. I had so many people sending me message. I had one person send me the last 8 days of artwork, and I try to keep it all organized. But bear with me a little bit. I can assure you that sending your artwork over the messages on Facebook is not the ideal way that I should be collecting your work. But at least it makes it easy on you, because it's not very easy for me, because once I see the message, Facebook just assumes I'm done with it, and they they just pack it away and then I have to go hunting for it again. Yeah, so I think I made him a bit too tall. I'm gonna shrink his head down a little bit. And he's gonna be apathetic. Yeah. Today Nugget is feeling a little apathetic. So there's Nugget. Let me I'm gonna just ink our little Nugget friend here. He is unamused. I think I made him a little bit fatter today. I'm gonna try to slim him down. There we go. There, he's not as fat now. Yeah, that's better. Now I'm gonna put in some of these wrinkles here. Pardon me, flipping the paper all around. All right, I'll draw this over here. Who cheated on what? No. Our little slug buddy would never cheat on his vegan diet. He's vegan for life. He understands how delicate the slug life is. And he would never harm another living creature for that reason. I think I'm going to actually use some markers here and color this thing completely, unlike my previous color iterations. I think I'm going to color this one completely with markers, not with actual color, just gray tones, I'm going to keep it gray tones for today. Because if I'm going to color anything, if you know me, you know I have to have it planned. So I don't want to just guess. That's too much. All right, let's work on some of these folds happening here. There. Oh no, I forgot this here. Forgot the hemline. There we go. Let's go ahead and do his shorts now. There we go. Alright, now for the Battle of the Bulge. What lines should I do? Alright, so this line here I think is a mandatory line. This line here, I'm going to say that this one here, and then of course the zipper situation going on. Just like so. And I'll do his pocket over here and create a bump, create another bump. Yeah, I think that's good. And I'll just cut in here. And then I'll do that crease, and that one. And then over here will be that one and that one. Yeah, I think that looks good. Let's do his bottom hemline now. Back of his pant leg, shorts, whatever. Yeah, I think that's good. The only thing left to do is the in hem. Just like that, kind of a squiggly thin line. And his outer one over here. Yeah, just keep that simple. I think I'm going to do a bit of erasing, so I'm not smearing the graphite all over the place. Sorry, I hope I wasn't out of frame too much. I didn't realize how much I was zoomed in. Okay, Doodle Stuff, you take care. Is the Micron pen I'm using the best? So Micron pens have been something that I've used for a very, very long time, and I've never really tried any other pens. I tried that, the Faber-Castell one that died on me yesterday that you guys, a few of you told me to light on fire with a lighter. And that didn't work, by the way. I ended up having to throw that pen away. But it worked really well before I forgot it and left it out all day with the cap off. But yeah, so I really don't have any other pens to talk about, because the Micron ones I've been using for so long that I don't really know any other pens. Forgot a few things over here, like that crease. But I really like them. They tend to last me a very long time. They're very reasonably priced, in my opinion, and they come in a variety of wonderful sizes that suit my needs perfectly. They go on smoothly, which is a mandatory attribute of any pen that I plan on using. So I can only say good things about them, to be honest with you. I forgot little slug details. There we go. Oh, yours lasted one day. Well, it sounds like you may have grabbed the wrong one from the art store. I've had a couple that didn't last. And it could just be that you know, they dried out for some reason. Maybe they were stored properly, or you know, you got one that was tested in the store until it was bled dry or something along those lines. But yeah, that doesn't happen to me too often with the Micron pens. But that's something that you'll most likely have to deal with any kind of pen that you do try out. You know, sometimes there's duds. All right, let's finish his legs down here. Let's finish inking these before I get too carried away with my eraser. The sun is trying to come out today, but the clouds just are doing their best to block all the sunlight. Hopefully, wherever you're located at, a few of you are still enjoying some of the summer weather a little bit. Some of you I know live where you don't even have to worry about winter weather, but it's certainly coming here quickly to Poland. All right. You know, I totally forgot to add the bows to his shoes. You know what? I think I'm going to just freestyle his loose laces. Yeah, I'll do that on this shoe, but on this shoe, I think I'll give him laces maybe. One real quick thing. So I drew a bunch of lines down here. So when I ink, the first thing that I always do are my laces that are on top. So I just go from one side to the other with those first laces, because they lay on top of all the details like that. And then I can connect this part of the shoe and do that lace that comes across like that, and then I can do all the underneath laces just like this. Teeny tiny little lines, there's barely anything there. And then once all that's done, I can connect the shoe in between the laces like that. Legs and shoes look great. Thank you, Chrissy. This one really needs to be in color. You think so? I don't know. I'm really not prepared. I'm really not prepared to color this one, and you know what? Maybe, I don't know. How would you guys like to color this one? Would anybody be up to coloring this? What I could do is I could pause really quick. I could go grab my camera and take a good picture of it, and share the line art with you guys. If anybody would be interested in coloring it, I'd be happy to share the line art. You could just print it off, or trace it off your computer screen or whatever, if you wanted to. You guys let me know if anybody's interested. I'll just grab my camera after I finish the inking. I'll take a quick picture of it, so you can So you can color it if you want. I have a few line arts over on my DeviantArt page that I put up there specifically for coloring. There, that's all I'm going to do with the laces on this side. Just jump in with both feet and don't be scared. Do every color of the rainbow. Yeah. Well, how long have I been streaming for? I feel like I've been streaming for quite some time. I need to do the dishes, so if anybody wants to come over, do my dishes, I'd be happy to color this. Now I'll color one eventually. I know it's gonna take me forever to do, and I just don't have it in me today, so I apologize. Maybe I'll color one another day. One that I can, feel more prepared for. If I didn't have to design this outfit on the stream, like to do the sketch and everything like that, and figure out how I was going to do the clothes, and I just had to ink the pencil sketch, I would feel a little bit better about coloring it, but yeah, I had a little bit too much to do today, so I think I'm gonna have to just stick with the gray tones today, and maybe tomorrow I will be a bit better prepared. There. I think that's. Oh, I gotta finish his hair and hat. Yeah, I don't like doing the dishes either. All right, I'm gonna erase this hat because it just doesn't look right at all. I kind of like the hat coming off like this. I'm gonna try to build the hat in, kind of blocking it. Yeah, I feel like that fits a little bit better. I'll just curve these lines. And the propeller on his hat only had 2 blades, I think. So I'm just going to add one here. I don't know. I don't know if I like adding the propeller, because most people might not recognize it as a propeller. I'll leave it, whatever. I think this works. Yeah, that sits a little bit better on his head. So I'm gonna add in the curls here a bit. I'm gonna just color his hair one color, or I'm just gonna make it all kind of dark gray. So I'm not too concerned about any level of detail whatsoever. Just need to get the texture right. All right, I'm inking it. I'm committing myself to that. we go. All right, that's how it's gonna be. See, I drew his hat a little bit too high, and it made it just not look like he was actually wearing it, that it was just kind of floating there. All right. Yeah, that's good. That's good enough for me. I'm going to erase. I'm going to do some erasing now. Do I know what I'm doing for tomorrow? Gigantic. Oh, goodness. I did a little bit of preparing before, like a few days before October. For Gigantic, and the more I look at it, the more I hate it, and I think it's stupid. I'll just tell you my idea. My idea was to do a gigantic pair of shoes, and the point of reference was that I was going to create a character leaning up against them. That's my original idea for Gigantic, and I think it's dumb, and I'm probably going to do something else. Of course, that leaves me with 0 time to figure out what I'm going to do. Kind of waiting last minute with all of these at the moment. But, goodness, I don't know. Alright, let's do some coloring now. I'm going to start with his hair, since I'm just going to make it dark gray anyway. Oh, that sounds like a cool idea. I haven't seen that movie Where the Wild Things Are. They did a new one, like, at some point, I think, right? Or was it the first one? Because it's a book, and they made a movie. I actually never watched the movie. Wasn't it? Didn't Tim Burton direct it or something like that? I don't know. I remember hearing about the movie and watching the trailer like a really long time ago or something, and it looked really good, but I actually never got around to actually watching the movie. Oh no, I just realized I need to put a protective paper. Ah, crap. I already burnt through the paper with the stupid marker. I wasn't even thinking. You guys should have told me. Oh well. Oh well. Let's see, what else do I need to color this color? Let's see. I still have some pencil up here I need to erase. I'm trying to think of how to do the shading. Oh, I forgot his eyebrows. And I'll do the inside of his mouth. That way people don't think it's his lip. I'm just going to grab a number 3. Trying to think of how I want to shade his... I think I'm just going to have the light coming from over here. This direction. So I will shade this side of his face, this side of his nose, underneath his eyebrows, like so. Kind of curve around his face. Shade this whole side of his head. Drop shadow underneath his chin. Yeah. I'm committed now. Cast shadow from his sleeve. A little bit over here until it transfers over here. Back of his hand. Oh, hello Ankush. I shared one of your drawings in the beginning. Yeah, I don't know how much fun you did miss. I don't feel like I'm being as fun today. So I apologize if I bored anybody. Like I said, I'm always a little self-conscious in the live streams. Because I kind of feel like I ran out of a few things to say. You know, I only did the primary inking on him. I just realized that. I started coloring way too early. Because I didn't do any of the finer inking. So I need to do some of that. Yeah, I need to do some of that. So I need to grab this pen. And I'm going to outline him with a thicker line just to make it stand off the page a bit better, make it a little nicer looking. You guys deserve a nicer looking drawing than this. I've been really focused on this one today though, which seems a bit odd. I thought this one would have been really easy to kind of focus on the live chat a little bit better, so I apologize if I missed any of your questions today, because I don't feel like I've really looked up at the live chat much, so I apologize. Let me take a break. I'll check the entire video after the stream. Okay, Ankush, I appreciate that. I'm fun. You just missed the chat. Sometimes it's a whole experience that really makes it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm still reasonably entertaining. Fun in the chat. Lesson on fabric. Yeah, at least. If you don't get anything from this live stream, at least in the beginning, you know, I gave you guys some pretty useful tips on fabrics and drawing feet and shoes a little bit. So at the very least, the beginning of the live stream was educational. I spent, so my day so far, I guess I didn't really talk about that all that much. My day so far is I spent all morning cutting paper. Yeah, that's what I did all morning. I cut paper. I buy the really big sheets of paper because it's cheaper to buy them that way than it is to get them in like the pre-cut kind of things, and some of the really good paper actually only comes in sheets, and it's really expensive for me to have them shipped here to Poland from the UK. it's kind of a hassle. But yeah, that's what I did all morning for like 2.5 hours or something. And then I finally got a break from cutting paper to have a really nice, fun art class with one of my lovely Patreon students. For those of you that are unaware, I have 2 spots available on Patreon for art students, and what that means is that once a month I live stream just for you. We jump on the Google Hangout together, draw together, and I think today it's only supposed to be an hour a month, but I don't think I've ever had a class last less than 2 hours. It's almost always 2 hours because it's just so much fun hanging out and drawing together, and you just get to pick my brain. We work on a project of your choice. Today, my Patreon student and I, let me show you really quick. So I did this morning. This is a pastel piece that she wanted to do, and I showed her a new technique to incorporate ink with your pastels, and we had a lot of fun working on this, and I'm happy with the result. Yeah, I forgot to, I was meaning to share that picture on Instagram, and I totally forgot. I was trying to get set up for the live stream right after we got finished with class. But yeah, I'm probably going to share that once I'm finished here with the live stream. And I'll share the picture of him. Oh, you know what? I totally missed anybody that wanted me to take a picture of the line art. And I even started coloring before I finished it. So I am sorry if you wanted the line art to this. I suppose you can still trace the final image even after I shade it here. Did you study art? No, I did not. I never studied art. I just taught myself, and I think one of the things I do best is I come up with my own techniques. Usually they're based on other things that I've picked up and learned or whatnot, but the way that I do art, I always describe it as being what's the word I'm looking for? Algorithmic. The way that I approach art is always algorithmically, and what I mean by that is I find patterns in the way that I can create things, and I exploit those patterns to make drawing, painting, coloring, everything. Just I try to make it as easy as possible, and then I share that information with everybody so that everybody can learn the way that I do things. And it seems to resonate with a lot of people. I don't know how many times people, compliment the way that I approach teaching art, because I don't teach it as like a feeling or anything weird like that. Because the way that I teach myself, I suppose you could say, is the same way I approach, teaching others the techniques that I do. All right. I think that's good enough. Let's see. I'm going to just shade his shirt now. Actually, let's see. I'm gonna grab this color. I don't know why I keep referring to these grays as colors, but Yeah, I keep doing that. There we go. And I'll grab this one here, because his hat is like tri-colored. It's like light, dark, and it's like yellow and blue or something ridiculous. Let's shade our little snail here. Slug. Sorry, Nugget. Didn't mean to call you a snail. I'm such a mathematician. Yeah, the same way I approach math is the same way that I approach art. I'm not into the touchy-feely kind of stuff when it comes to art. Just all about creating whatever it is I want, and I don't do the weird stuff. So. Alright, there is our little nugget. I want his shorts to be pretty dark. So I'm just going to color them all in, color his shorts in completely with the number 5 gray. And I'm going to keep all of my pen strokes vertically so I can hide the weird kind of lines that the marker wants to create. Hopefully that will make it a little bit more even, a little more evenly colored. Because this paper is not ideal for markers. It bleeds quite a bit, and the colors are, yeah, they're very they're not very clear, because the 5 looks like the 7, the 1, 2, and 3 all look the same. It doesn't retain the pigment of the marker very well, so this won't be the ideal paper to be coloring on anyway. So you need to work on perspective. Yeah, perspective can be a tricky task. I do have a tutorial on 2-point perspective specifically over on my Patreon page. I think that's actually the only drawing tutorial that I've actually ever done, aside from my how to draw anime tutorial. But I don't cover perspective in that. So once I finish with this shade of gray, I'm going to grab my slightly darker shade of gray and add a bit of shadow to his shorts. And then I'll use this. I'll use the same thing on his shoes. Actually, I'll do the 5 and 7 on his shoes. Alright, grab my 7 now, and I'm just going to come underneath his t-shirt, just like that, come under this crease here and do that there, and this side of his shorts will be completely shaded. And then over here, pretty much that whole side will be shaded. All right, there. Now his shorts are shaded. I'm gonna grab a 2, wherever it is. I'm just gonna throw a little shadow on his socks here because his socks are white, so I don't wanna shade them too much. I think that's good. Now his shoes, I need to grab my 5 again. Sorry, did I miss any questions? Agreed to an IKEA that Saturdays should be your break time, just a casual hangout with us on stream and no art, just Q&A hangout. What do you think about that? Well, I have fully committed myself to the Inktober, so I am going to do, at least for this month, I mean, before Inktober on Kush, I'm not sure if you were actually subscribed to my channel, but every Monday was the live stream. So that's how often I did live streams before this, was just once a week. And it was always kind of more of a hangout than about the drawing, because I usually just worked on whatever randomly. Okay, Chrissy, you take care. Get some rest. I know you've been up for a while. But yeah, I'm fully committed to Inktober, so I'm gonna keep it going until it's done. But I appreciate the idea of giving me a break, but there's no rest for the wicked. I'm gonna when I commit to something, I see it through to the end. Just like my vegan diet. When I went vegan, after that third day, I tell the story anytime I tell the story, it's always after the third day I went vegan, I said, I'm never going back. And from that third day, I've never gone back, not once, not even not for a snack, not for nothing. Since that third day, it's been 110% vegan ever since, for 8.5 years, and I will never ever look back. And that goes for Inktober as well. I committed. I said I was going to do it. I started doing it, and I'm going to finish it. There's no breaks. 31 days. I'm streaming every day. I don't care if I have to draw. I don't even know. Just if I have no idea what I'm going to draw, I'm going to figure it out on the stream. If I didn't prepare, I'm going to make myself look like a fool on the stream. Just whatever it takes. I'm gonna finish Inktober. I have the commitment made. All I gotta do is watch over here. Last thing to shade is his shirt, and I'm gonna keep his shirt white for no reason at all. Oh, you mean after Inktober? So I just went on that whole long rant, and you mean after Inktober? Yeah. Not Saturdays. Not Saturdays. I can't work on the weekends after Inktober. Like I try really hard to not work on the weekends. I always end up doing it anyway. But maybe, yeah, like I said, Monday drawing journal is really the hangout thing. So I think I'm just going to keep that because during the drawing journal I talk about just random stuff and basically what I'm doing now every day. And you guys are always, you guys can always ask me questions no matter what they are, what they're pertaining to. They don't have to particularly pertain to Inktober in any way or what I'm drawing in the moment. So if you have questions, by all means, feel free to ask them at your leisure. All right, I think this is gonna be it. I think this is done. Oh yeah, he needs a drop shadow. Gosh, I never catch a break, can I? I'm gonna sketch it out first, just so I have a little bit. Trying to figure out the perspective here. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So I'll lift up some of my graphite and I'll just come in with my marker. And if I like it, then I like it. If I don't, then oh well. There. Now just color that in. And that will be the end of this drawing. I don't think there's anything else I want to do to it. Except shade the bottom of his shoe. Ah, jeez. Of course, this needs to be shaded. There we go. I feel better. But it also needs to have some texture. Now I can sleep good tonight. What is it? What are the winters like in Poland? They're cold and wet. So they're not the most ideal winters that I have in mind. I really wish that it snowed a lot more in Poland. I love snow. I'm originally from Ohio, and when I was a kid, there was nothing more I looked forward to than waking up to the freaking 30 centimeters of snow. That was just, those are the best memories I have, is waking up to just the deepest pile of snow that could ever be imagined by a kid. Alright, I think that's a pretty good drop shadow. Let me zoom out a little bit more. You guys get the full perspective. Oh, geez. I don't think there's anything else. I don't think there's anything else. I feel like his hair's not dark enough though. Yeah, I think that's good. It's good to go. Appreciate the live streams, Abigail. Well, I appreciate you coming to the live streams and hanging out. It's super fun. I love doing the live streams for you guys. So I'm glad that you guys enjoy watching them as much as I enjoy doing them. Even though Inktober is really putting me on an edge as far as creativity. Regardless, I'm having fun with it. It is truly a challenge. Let me see. I think I have a few more questions here from you. So before I close out the stream, I'll just try to catch up a little bit on the chat before I say good day to you all. He says he continues to color, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's me. When did I emigrate to Poland? Yes, I am officially a Polish resident. I am not a citizen, though. Don't get those two things confused. Okay, then. Bye, people of the universe. I thought Indian winters were a lot of snow, but last year, 9 feet. Oh my gosh, lucky. I would love to have that much snow. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all again. Make sure you send your final pieces over to me on Facebook. Remember, the link is in the description. The other link that is in the description is the link to my new colored pencil course. So if anybody's interested in learning colored pencils, I just put out a new course for that. It's only $10, so it really helps me out if you buy the course, even if you're not into colored pencils. And you just like to hear me talk, well, that's $10 to have 6 hours of me talking. So if you like to listen to me while you're creating, that's a pretty cheap way to get quite a lot of listening time in. And who knows, maybe you'll pick up a new skill or a new tip, a new trick, something that you can incorporate in your art. Or if you have kids, it's definitely, I would say the course is probably good for any kid that's like 12, maybe 10 even. It's fairly basic, really easy to follow. So yeah, support the channel by doing that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 10. So we're almost there to only 21 more days left to go. So I'll see you then. Take care. Peace.